ABC, welcome. This is Ron. Got another edition of some recent finds, and picked up a few things, and I'd like to show those. So what you're looking at now is something I've been wanting to get ever since I founded the Hog's Ear Report, and it's pretty obvious why. And it's Blodwyn Pig. The Head Rings Out. This is a 1969 UK blues rock album. It's a US pressing on A&M. It has a gatefold cover. And it was founded by Mick Abrams, who was a lead guitarist in Jethro Tull on their first album. After their first album, he split and formed this band. And they had a couple albums. This is the first one. It's on the A&M label. Really good, excellent 4-star album. It does have horn on it, but I must say it is quite good. Okay, the next one I'm going to show is the Autumn People. And the Autumn People is what's on the turntable right now. They're a local Phoenix, Arizona prog rock band. And this is their only release from 1976. The cool thing about this album, it was recorded less than a mile from where I grew up as a kid. The recording studio Soundtech was located just on the outside of our neighborhood. And this is a fine album, and good sound, and not a really high dollar album, but you'd probably pay maybe a little over $100 for a near mint copy, maybe somewhere $125 range probably. And they also had a couple of singles besides this album, and this is the first single. It's from 1976, and it's got 2 songs that are on this album, but these are earlier alternate versions. And then they had one final single, and it's a couple of songs off the album when the album came out, and I believe these are the same versions that are on the album. And no picture sleeves were issued for these 45s. So pretty cool band. Right, the next one I'm going to show first album by the Nazz, and the Nazz of course featured Todd Rundgren, and this is their first album from 1968. It has a gatefold cover. Contains the song Hello, It's Me, which would be later re-recorded by Rundgren in the 70s and became a big hit. It's probably one of the few instances where the remake is better than the original version. And here's the label. I had this in the 90s, and I got rid of it because somebody told me that this was also on red vinyl. Well, I come to find out that the red vinyl copies are only the second and third album. The first album did not come on red vinyl. So I finally got a nice copy, good price, so I'm back where I was with the Nazz. Now all I need is their third album. And this one I got yesterday, and it's The Shape of Things to Come by Max Frost and the Troopers. Now this is a fictional band that was created to promote an album movie Wild in the Streets. And it's said that Davey Allen and Arrows is the backing band on this album. And this is a really good album. It's very short though, it's only 22 minutes long. And it's definitely got that garage sound throughout. A little bit of psych and some pop elements. If you're a fan of the Standells, you will definitely like this album. And it is a designated promo, as you can see. And there's the label, Tower label. This next one I got is the first Turtles, and this is a stereo copy. Now, I had a mono copy in my collection, but I've been wanting a stereo copy. They're harder to find than the monos. Usually if you find it out in the wild, it's in mono. So I got a VG Plus copy, you know, pretty cheap price, so I'm happy with it. And is on the White Whale label. Very cool, excellent folk rock album. A lot different than their more poppy stuff that they did later on. This next one I have is Oregon. And this is from 1973, and it's on the Vanguard label. It's all instrumental. They're kind of a jazz-based band, and the cool thing about this band is they utilize sitar and tabla. So it's very cool. It's very appealing to psych people. Technically this is like their third album. Their first album went unreleased until 1980, 10 years after it was recorded. So yeah, they had one album prior to this, and it may be a little more psychedelic compared to this one, but this isn't like overloaded in psych, but the sitar and tabla definitely give it that vibe, so it's pretty cool. And there's a whole lot of sitar on it, but the first album may have more. And this is the label. So if you spot it, this is a good band to check out because their albums are cheap. This next one I'm going to show is the Fabulous Wailers. This is their first album. Now this album originally came out in 1959, and this is a 1962 reissue or second pressing. And you can tell that the original covers by the multicolor text on the cover, and it's on the Golden Crest label. Mixture of instrumentals and some vocal. And this album has Dirty Robber on it, which sort of that early garage sound. I really like this little cartoon down at the bottom. Stop before playing this record to be certain your needle is good. That's pretty neat. So there's the label, multicolored label. The label didn't change between the first and the second pressing. So these guys are very influential and are said to be pretty much the founders of garage rock. Definitely planted the seed for it anyway, and very, very cool find, and I like that album a lot. This next one is Here They Come, Paul Revere and the Raiders, and this is their first album that was issued on Columbia. They had some earlier albums, but this is the first one on Columbia. And this is the first pressing with a different back cover. Second pressings, we normally will see one, will have the extent of liner notes all over the cover, and this has got very limited liner notes. This has a guaranteed high fidelity label, where that was removed on the second pressing. Okay, this next one this is a local Phoenix, Arizona comedy music album by Tim Adams. Not Tim Allen, Tim Adams. And although I think Tim Adams, or I should say Tim Allen, would really like this album. It was recorded here in Phoenix. About a mile from where I grew up as a kid on Indian School Road. So yeah, another one recorded real close to where I used to live. And this probably came out about 1970. And I have some 45s by this guy, but I've never seen this album before. I believe it's his only album. This is just funnier than hell. He took some songs that were popular at the time and changed the lyrics and made them very adult. Pretty dirty and just very, very funny. And the girls on the front were actually go-go dancers from various titty bars here around town, and there's their names. So yeah, he does a cover version of El Paso. It's called El Puso. Big Bad Mary. It's a parody of Big Bad John. And Bobby Goldsborough's Honey. He does it horny. Just very funny. Show the label. It's on Twilight, which was his own label. Okay, this next one is on Placebo Records, a Phoenix, Arizona label. And it's Joke Flowers and Victory Acres. Joke Flowers is on one side and Victory Acres is on the other side. Come out in 1988. And it's definitely that avant-garde 80s rock sound. And actually these two bands are related, as they have Doug Clark in the band. He was the guitarist and founder of the Mighty Sphincter, and he was also in the Exterminators. And his brother, who was actually the singer for the Exterminators, he plays bass on Victory Acres. And Joke Flowers is another band that Doug had. He played guitar. And Mary Clark is the vocalist in both bands. I don't know what relation she was to the Clark brothers, if any, but she does the vocals. This kind of reminds me of a little bit of Killer Pussy, but a little bit darker. And not real goth-like, but similar. I thought it was to be okay. I mainly got it because it had the Clarks in it. Okay, now I'm going to show some 45s. This is a Mighty Sphincter 45 that came out in 1993, House of No Return. It's a local record. And I did some investigation. These seem to be kind of hard to find, so they probably didn't make many of these. And that's a picture of Doug Clark. He's the guy that's in The Exterminators that painted his face all black. And so this is a pretty good little record. I thought it was alright. And there's the label. This next one I'm going to show is a test pressing, and it's in fabulous near mint condition, just beautiful. It's all pressed on styrene, and it's for GNP Crescendo label. I did have an artist on it, but it did have a title, Who Shot the Lala? I had no clue what this thing was. So it was only $1, so I mean, I grabbed it. I'm glad I did, because this is cool New Orleans rhythm and blues. It's by a guy named Oliver Morgan, and it was released in June of 1964. And the B-side of this 45 is Hold Your Dog, which is a takeoff of Walkin' the Dog. And this is like a tribute record to Prince Lala. Prince Lala was another New Orleans rhythm and blues artist who overdosed in 1963. Some people think that he was actually intentionally overdosed, hence the name Who Shot the Lala. But pretty cool record, and I'm sure there's probably not very many of these things floating around. This is a 45 of the Fallen Angels. This came out before their first album came out, and it's two songs that are not on that album. I really like this label with the advance release lettering on it. Very cool. So this is the B-side. This is the better side. It's more like kind of folk rock psych, something you would definitely find on their first album. And then this side is more pop, more pure pop. And yeah, this one was, you know, another really cheap record, $1 or $2. So yeah, I'm glad to find it. Okay, now I'm gonna show a few CDs. This is a CD for Hillary Blaze, and I showed their album a little while back. It's the one that has the Atomic Blast cover, Phoenix, Arizona album, and this has been remastered, so it sounds a lot better than the original release. And those are the liner notes. And this band was actually, they had a pop psych album in the 60s, The Paper Garden, and it was on the Musicore label. So if you have that album, Hillary Blaze is the same band. And they were originally out of the New York area, and they moved to Arizona and put that album out. So that's definitely one I want to get. And on the album, they went by their real names, and then for this album, they kind of changed their names a little bit. And a couple more CDs I got Nashville Pussy. This come out of a thrift store. Great condition. This is a really good album, and this one's good, really good. Just put it in the car, crank it up. A lot of fun. Two female guitarists in the band, and very, you know, a lot of it's sexist lyrics. Definitely fun, and good band to check out if you don't know them. This is a really good album to check out, and it's called Get Some. Then I got Social Distortion, 1990, and this has got Drug Train on it, which is really great. Really good album. I really like the second half of this album. This is really good. Saw Social Distortion open up for Neil Young in 93. So yeah, that was real good. So those are nice finds to get out of a thrift store, and those things are in nice condition. Okay, I got one more thing to show, and it's a t-shirt that I picked up. This thing is made from a concert poster or flyer from when the Jimi Hendrix Experience played at ASU in Tempe, Arizona in 1968. They played at the Sun Devils gym. And look who opened up for them, the Soft Machine. I mean, would that have been killer or what? $3 admission. I think this might be a custom tee, I'm not sure. But I know the seller that I got this from at the antique mall, she had posters that she had made of this artwork, and she might have had the shirts made. I don't know. But it's definitely cool. So that will be it. And Jimmy says Merry Christmas, and I say Merry Christmas. And this will probably be my last video for a while. Definitely get one out before the new year, but this will be my last video before Christmas. So happy holidays to everyone, and catch you guys later.